All right, hi. Just a quick bending lesson. Disclaimer: I'm not very good at bending, but okay. So my job right now is to try to explain how to bend to someone who's totally new at bending. And I want to say, let's look at what's wrong first. The wrong thing to do is to use your fingers to straighten your fingers. Okay, I call it fingers extension. So like that. Okay, so this is what you're doing. Just putting your fingers on the string, and then you're straightening your fingers. Okay, so that's wrong. And look at the back of my hand. Look at my thumb. Maybe your thumb is resting, okay, but functionally it's just doing that. It's just floating. It's not contributing to the movement. Okay, so when you ask people what is the correct movement of bending, then if it's not finger straightening, well, they will tell you that the correct motion is a rotational movement. Okay, and rotational movement, you need to understand what is a rotational movement. Okay, so what you can do is you can put out your hand and then just turn like that. Okay, some people call it the turning the doorknob movement, and I have nothing to argue with that because that's what I believe as well. I believe that the bending is a rotational movement. However, the problem and where my disagreement starts is that it's not purely a rotational movement, because this is what's gonna happen, and I want you to tell me if I'm right or not. I want you to try to do the rotational movement on the guitar right now, and you will find that you can't bend at all. You are bending worse than you are getting lesser range than when you are straightening your fingers. Okay, and if this is so strong, if the rotational movement is so strong compared to this, and it truly is, okay, because you're using more muscle and joints with this movement versus just the fingers over here. So this is the rotational movement uses bigger muscle groups, whereas the fingers extension uses smaller muscle groups. So of course the rotational movement is more powerful. But why then? Okay, our puzzle is, why then is the rotational movement not giving you more range? Okay, and that's because it is strong, but you need to know how to transfer that strength. Okay, and simply doing that on that guitar might not transfer that rotational force across. Okay, because there is some finesse involved, whereby you need to angle your hand. I don't know how to describe it, but you need to angle your hand in such a way that the leverage is exploited. And yeah, so I would suggest that you try that. I would suggest that you try to do the rotational movement and discover that it's not giving you any success. And then the next step will be to find how can you sort of like add extra ingredients such that the force is allowed to transfer. For me, I think one of the ingredients is the thumb hooking over the neck. Okay, I feel that this position, it changes the position of your fingers such that that the transference of the rotational force is more conducive. Okay, so if you do that, you'll find that, I don't know, the leverage of your arm is just more conducive to perform that bend. And you also want the rotation not to come from the entire forearm, but really to focus on only this part of the palm, to bring that closer to the guitar neck. Okay, so like that. Can you see that? I'm focusing this part. I'm trying to bring this. So this, okay, I'm gonna say further away, closer. Okay, further away, closer, further away, closer, further away, closer. Can you see that I'm only interested in this very small part of the palm? I'm only interested in bringing this to close to the guitar neck. I'm not so much interested in this big movement. Okay, because when you have very big movement, right, you're gonna find that it's very difficult to transfer this force with finesse to the strings. Okay, you need control as well, right? So it's fundamentally a this movement, but just think of stare at this part of the palm like that, stare at that, and try to bring it closer. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions. I don't know if that is a good video or not. Like I said, I can't really teach how to bend. I can't really teach how to bend, but I just want to say that I'm very sure that when you try to bend, nothing's gonna happen when you use that rotational movement. Okay, because there's more to the story than just a pure rotational movement. There is something that you need to do. Maybe it's about hooking the thumb. Maybe it's about staring at this part of the palm and bringing it and smacking it onto the guitar. Of course, I'm not asking you to smack the guitar to bend, but that's why as beginners